Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is a presentation from www.central-mosque.com about artificial meat, inshallah. As usual, the presentation will be in English and there will be a separate one in Urdu. Inshallah, ये मसनूई गोश्त के बारे में presentation है www.central-mosque.com की तरफ से और ये हमेशा की तरह पहले अंग्रेजी में और एक दूसरी presentation उर्दू में होगी. Let's proceed and talk about various aspects of it. Before we delve into the scientific discussion, I want to talk about a few issues which are pertinent to it, but not necessarily scientific related. First of all, is artificial meat halal or haram? I have no idea. This is the domain of the ulama, this is the domain of the scholars, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to consult the scholars about what you know not. I am not a scholar, it is not my domain, it is not my place to issue fatwas of halal and haram. This is just the scientific background of artificial meat and to try to explain this to people in as layman, as simplistic terms as I possibly can. Number two, why am I talking about it now? This is nothing new. It's been on the horizon for a long time, close to a decade. The reason being is this: the finished product wasn't available in the market. The reason I've now decided to talk about it is I believe that by the end of the year, by the end of 2018, in several markets around the world, in America and China, this product will be viable and available for purchase. I'm not saying it's going to be cheap, but it is going to be available. So this is the right time to talk about it. Number three, before we delve into the scientific aspects and the technical aspects of artificial meat, you need to talk about the ideology and the philosophy. This meat is being heavily pushed by the vegetarian societies around the world. They are injecting a lot of money into the research, and by the conservative, the environmentally conservative. I'm not talking about politically conservative, environmentally conservative people. Because what they're saying is there is a lot of burden on the earth to sustain all these animals. So basically, when we have lab-grown meat, this is supposed to be a environmentally friendly way of providing meat to the human population. Number two, the vegetarian society who believe that it's cruelty to animals to consume it. What they're saying is if we have lab grown meat, then we will not be consuming these animals. We will not be killing these animals for consumption. So it is not a purely scientific discussion. I truly believe that because of because of these ideologies and philosophies, this meat will be pushed quite heavily once it becomes available for consumption commonly, and it will take off like wildfire. So basically, it will become very popular, and that is the reason why I'm talking about the scientific aspects of it, and I'm urging you to go consult your scholars about the halal and haram aspects of it. Number four, I am not a Maulana, I am not a Mufti, I'm not a scholar, but I can only speak about from my own personal perspective. When it comes to using medicine or when it comes to consuming anything, whether it's food or whether it's any sort of medical therapy or medical intervention, we not only talk about the short-term effects of it. So what are the effects on the human body of consuming it? But we also talk about the long-term effect of it. So basically, if you consume this artificial meat for 5 years, 10 years or more, what are the side effects? What is it doing? So on and so forth. And because this product is brand new in the market, there are no long-term studies. Therefore, personally, I will not be consuming this at all. Forget about the halal and haram aspect of it, because scientifically, it has not been determined whether the consumption of this meat is safe over a long periods of time. This is just my personal decision. I just wanted to put that out there. Again, consult the scholars about the halal and haram aspects of it. Now, after discussing all four of these preliminary matters, let's go ahead and talk about the scientific issues. So this is a presentation about stem cells. Perhaps in the future, as other scientific breakthroughs become available, there's some very exciting and good scientific research areas in stem cells. So we will talk about stem cells in detail. So this is, you can say this is kind of the part one. Inshallah, we will talk about part two, part three later on. Stem cells. So what is a stem cell? The human body has billions, in fact, actually trillions of different kinds of cells. You have cells which make up your muscles. You have cells which make up your blood, various constituents of your blood. You have cells which make up your nerve cells. You have cells that make up part of your heart. You have cells that make up part of your liver. You have cells that make up part of your intestines and various other parts of the body. These cells are different. They are called differentiated. They are different. Your muscle cells are different to the cells that are used in your liver, which are different to the cells that are used in your intestine. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created right at the beginning stage of it something called a stem cell. A stem cell is something which is undifferentiated, meaning it has not been given a specific purpose. Okay, so the basic building block of a cell, you can say, is like a stem cell. The stem cell then differentiate and it eventually becomes an intestine cell or a liver cell or stomach or cardiac or nerve or blood cell or a muscle cell and so on. There are two main areas where we can extract or pull stem cells from. One is the embryonic stem cells, and I'm talking about humans here. So what happens is, when a human embryo is formed, right at the beginning of conception, there's a human embryo. At the beginning, there are many stem cells. They are undifferentiated. Then these stem cells differentiate. They become various parts of the human body: muscles, liver, heart, intestine, stomach, eye, brain, nerve cell, blood cells, whatever. So the human embryo has tons of stem cells right at the beginning of conception. Then in the adult humans, they remain hidden within the tissue. So within your various tissues, there are stem cells. And what happens if you have disease? The human body, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put this ability in the human body to repair itself. And what it does, it takes these stem cells and it tries to create the muscles which are damaged, either by disease or by injury. So if your liver is damaged, the human body has the ability to extract these stem cells and convert them into a liver cell or convert into whichever cell is damaged. So this is applicable to humans, but I wanted to give you an example of humans. What I wanted to tell you, it's this is the process in almost all biological beings, sorry, whether they are plants or other kinds of animals. So all animals go through the same thing. Within the embryo of an animal, there are these cells, stem cells at the beginning, which differentiate and form various parts. And also within the tissue, basically, these stem cells repair. Now, certain organisms, certain animals, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them the ability to repair at a much faster and almost on a permanent basis. We and humans, we don't have this ability, but other animals do. So this is the definition of stem cells. Stem cells are basically the frontier of biological research. As I've said, as I may talk about other projects, but I just want to talk about the artificial meat in this particular one. So you can take a stem cell and you can form it into a muscle cell, you can form it into a blood cell, you can make a nerve cell, you can make a cardiac cell, you can make any kind of cell from the basic stem cell, which is the basic cell. Now what happens in the production of artificial meat? So what they do is they go to a cow and they extract a muscle tissue. So remember the stem cell, as I talked about in the back, stem cells remain in tissues. So just like humans, they also are in cow. So what they do is they remove a piece of muscle tissue from a cow. What they then do is they extract the stem cell from that muscle tissue they have taken, and they go ahead and put it in a petri dish or any other dish, and they try to cultivate it. So what you now get is just a stem cell extracted from a real cow, from a real muscle. Now what we need to do is we need to make that stem cell grow. So in a normal human body or in a normal animal, this stem cell will grow. But to grow it artificially, what they do is they go to a pregnant cow and they extract the serum from within the living fetus, and they inject this serum into the stem cell to make it grow. Now, at the moment, what they're trying to do is a lot of pregnant cows, a lot of fetuses die at butcher shops and slaughterhouses. So they extract the serum from these pregnancies which have died, or from cows which have died, and that's where this serum actually comes from. So this serum is basically put into the stem cell, and the stem cell is grown. Now, this stem cell, what they do is in the easiest way I can explain it is basically if you leave the stem cell to grow, it will just simply grow in a very haphazard manner. So what they do is they put some kind of a structure around it. It's called a hanger, right? And what they do is they make this stem cell grow in a particular size in a particular way, right? So the stem cell, it's now got the serum on it and it grows. And what they do is they try to grow it as a ring structure. At the moment, that's what the scientific studies are. And they try to make like a burger formation, like a round formation. And that's how you get artificial meat. It's extracted from the tissue of a calf, living calf. Serum of a pregnant fetus is injected into it, is grown at hanger in a particular way, and you get a burger out of it. This is basically what happens to a artificial meat growth process. So there are a few issues with this artificial meat still at the moment. Issue number one, as I've talked about, that they need to inject the serum of a pregnant cow into it, or the fetus into it. So this is the single most important issue in the process. At the moment, people are ethically, there are issues. People don't like it. Secondly, obviously, where are you going to get so much serum for experimentation? What they're doing is pregnant cows which are slaughtered in the slaughterhouses, or fetuses which die. This is where they're getting the serum from. If you do this on a mass scale, there is where you're going to get so much serum to grow this artificial meat. So this is the issue number one at the moment, and the entire scientific community is going in the direction as to how to find an artificial equivalent of this serum to grow this meat. Issue number two, the artificial meat which is grown, the color is a lot paler and the taste is a lot blander. So although it looks like meat, but the color is pale and the taste is not, it doesn't taste as good as a normal burger. So what they're trying to do is add chemicals to it and add other ingredients to make it taste and look like normal meat. So this is the entire discussion around this topic. Just an overview of how this artificial meat is created. So I hope, inshallah, that you will go and consult the scholars about the issue of fiqh of consumption of this meat. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.